Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to another episode of Gills in the Blood TV, a slightly impromptu one that was not planned, not for today anyhow, but has been brought about by the news this morning. Firstly, around 7:30, 7:45, Tom Eaves did announce, the worst kept secret I think in lower league football, that he was officially leaving Gillingham Football Club. His contract had expired at the end of June, and akin to watching a loved one slip away, we all knew it was going to happen. We just didn't know exactly when. But when it did happen, it still almost felt like a shock. And we're, of course, all disappointed as fans of the football club, because this is a man who's given us so much over 2 years with us. But it's not a time to be morbid. It's a time, I think, to look back on his career at the Gills and to celebrate that fact that for those 2 years we had so many memories, so many goals, so many moments, and that's not just on the pitch, that's off the pitch as well. I think if you speak to any fan of Gillingham Football Club, they'll say that Tom Eaves, as well as being a top player, is an absolute top bloke. He's a diamond, he's a legend. Never comes across that anything's too much trouble, whether that's for a chat with the younger fans, a photo with the younger fans, a photo with the bigger kids. Yeah, all in all, just a superbly rounded guy who has given us plenty to cheer about over the last 2 years in what's been a side that's not been great and has not always been proficient in terms of creativity. So I think that says a lot more about Tom's ability to have scored 40 goals in 97 appearances in a team that's finished 17th, I think, and 13th in the 2 seasons that he's been with us. Is testament to his ability, his professionalism, his hard work, his dedication, and yeah, by God, there's been plenty of really big goals to celebrate. If you go back to that first season, Southend at home hadn't actually scored. I don't think we'd actually scored a goal in the league, and first half he looked a bit clumsy, he weren't quite at the races, but my God, second half he was unplayable. It was like a switch had been flicked, and once he got that first one, a towering header at the far post, he went and got another one to put us in front, and then he rescued us a point after a shocking penalty in all truth, but he tapped it in from all of about 30 centimetres, claimed his first hat-trick, one of his 2 for the club. His second came on the final day of that season at home to Plymouth, which is where the famous beep Andy Carroll phrase has come from. He was getting grief off of the away fans, silenced them in the best way. How 3 really good goals, 3 points. We ended the season on a high in a 5-2 victory, and that sort of became his chant and his song, and we even had gifs made about it as well. And it was great to see, and he embraced it like he embraced everything else during his time with us. Yeah, so let's just break it down properly, and you realise what a good player he was. And these are his stats now coming up on the screen. As I say, 40 goals in 97 appearances in all competitions. It's a phenomenal record at lower league level. I tweeted out today as such, and to think that we got him on a free, and people were very sceptical when he arrived. He'd only scored, I think, 4 league goals the previous season in a division below for Yeovil. But we were lucky enough to speak to him back in January 2018. And you could tell then he'd only been with us a few months, but the drive and the desire to keep getting him better and keep improving was there for me and Stocky and Boz. It was plain to see, and he didn't put any ceilings or limits on his ambitions. And I remember the start of that season, he came out and said he wanted to get 20. And people were like, wow, that's a tad optimistic. He didn't quite make it, he got to 18. But he had a really good campaign. And I think throughout that season and last season, a lot of Gills fans, myself included, have probably wondered where the hell we'd be without his goals. But yeah, breaking it down further, to go with his 40 goals, 6 assists as well. So directly involved in not 46 goals in his time with us. 11 came with his left foot, 14 with his right and 15 with his head, which is no surprise. given the size of the bloke and his ability in the air. 2 hat-tricks, like I say, 5 doubles, 4 penalties. In terms of favourite goals, there's one that stands out by a million miles. And that was that October day last season at Fratton Park. Long ball into the box, diagonal from Luke O'Neill, I think. Max Amar cushioned header, and from there the big man took over. 1 touch to bring it under his spell, 1 to flick it over his head, and the final one to absolutely larrup it into the roof of the net. A goal so good that the home end at Fratton Park stood up and applauded. It was that good. How it didn't get into the EFL's shortlist for best goal of the season or the year or however they work it is an absolute travesty in my opinion. But for me, an absolutely brilliant strike. A goal that you probably didn't think he had in his locker when he first arrived, probably until that one at Plymouth, December 2017, when he took it on his chest about 25 yards out and volleyed it into the corner over the top of the keeper. And that was when I think maybe as Gills fans, we started to realise, hang about, we've got a really good player on our hands here. It wasn't just about penalty box stuff or 6-yard stuff, it was the total package. Like I say, if you look at them goals, 11 with his left, 14 with his right and 15 with his head, evenly distributed. So knows what he's doing in front of goal. In terms of other favourite strikes for me, I think Charlton, September 2017, scruffy left-footed into the corner from no more than 6 yards. The sort of goal that Steve Lovell harped on about, wanting him to score throughout his time in charge of us, wanted him to get into dangerous areas, wanted him to score more tap-ins, and I think that summed him up. And it was our first win of the season under Adrian Pennock. Unfortunately, AD, or fortunately, depending on what you want to look at it, didn't survive much longer after that, but Tom just kept banging them in for Steve Lovell. He went to Rotherham and scored in a brilliant 3-1 win. Who can forget his goal at the Valley, New Year's Day 2018, first win at Charlton for us. Brilliant afternoon. Unfortunately couldn't make it, but yeah, still revelled in the fact that we'd pulled it off, and I think that was the spell of 4 wins on the bounce when there were very small whispers of a playoff charge. It never materialised, we know that. But he didn't stop scoring throughout the rest of that campaign. And then even at the start of 2018-19, when we thought he was struggling with an injury that had led to him missing a little bit of pre-season, first home game of the season, he come on early doors for Dean Parrott and scored 2 in a 3-1 win, and he was up and running again and just went from strength to strength. And some people will say at the back end of the season his head was turned and he down tools and he didn't work hard. For me, it's an absolute nonsense. 22 goals in all competitions at any level, phenomenal effort. Yeah, and I think it was great that final day of the season up at Blackpool, he finished his Gills career, his final appearance with another match-winning double in a 3-0 win. First one, a beautifully bent left-footed effort into the far corner. Second one, a real poacher's finish again. Got on the end of a cross and poked it beyond the keeper. But like I said right at the beginning of this piece, there was more to Tom than just the stuff on the pitch. Stuff on the pitch that he was bloody good at. Always had time for a chat. One thing that stands out for me was 2017. I was going through problems with anxiety and mental health and was off work, and Tom sent me a message, a DM on Twitter, asking how I was doing. And he wasn't the only one, there were other Gills players. And to be quite frank, I was astounded. I thought, why is a professional footballer asking how I'm doing? And I think his response was something along the lines of, well, you support us every week, why can't we support you? And I think that for me says everything about the man. Says everything about Tom Eaves as a person, and till this day and beyond, I'll appreciate that forevermore. But yeah, in the ground, always had time for a photo, always had time for a chat, always had time for a selfie with the kids, the younger fans, the older fans. And yeah, here's a couple of my favourites. That's a couple of shots there from when myself, Boz and Stocky were lucky enough to travel over to the club January 2018, like I've already mentioned, and sit down with Tom and grab 20 minutes of his time. And he was very approachable, got involved with everything that we asked him to do, answered the questions honestly, defended himself when he felt he had to. When I inadvertently pigeonholed him as a target man, he quickly told me off and put me in my place and said that he was more than that, and that he didn't like being stereotyped just because he was 6 foot plus and a big frame. He said that he clearly had ability, and I think he was right and I was wrong, looking back now, because he just went from strength to strength after that. And like I say, there was plenty of serious chat in that interview, and you could tell his attitude and his approach to the game. And I think he's tweeted today in his thank you message to the Gills fan and said that he's always been told, and it's been ingrained into him, to do everything to the best of your ability and try and play the game at the highest level you possibly can, and he's doing that, and he fully deserves it. But there was time at the end of that interview for some silly stuff, and Tom's a big Liverpool fan, so we asked him some silly questions. And if you've not seen that interview already, I have tweeted it out today, but it's just a small clip. It's about a minute or so of a few of the daft questions we asked Tom at the end, and he was brilliant in getting involved. Right, just got a few quick fire silly ones to ask you. Obviously, I'm going to let the fans know you are a Liverpool fan, so that these are all a bit relevant. So I'm going to ask you a quick question, and you've just got to answer it off the cuff. Right. Number one, who was better, Robbie Fowler or Steven Gerrard?
Robbie Fowler.
Number two, which teammate would you least like to be stuck in a lift with? Oh, there must be a few.
Who bored the life out of me? Nah, Luke O'Neill, because he'd just get hungry.
Fair enough. If you had to wear one shirt for the day, which would it be? Everton or Man United?
What question that is? Everton.
Cilla Black or Paul O'Grady?
Cilla Black.
Cilla Black, the original. This is from Boz. If the squad took part in a Royal Rumble style battle royal, who would be the last man standing?
Me.
Fair enough. Right, you're top knot. I'm disappointed you've got your hair down today. Magical goal scoring powers, or just too lazy to go to the hairdressers?
Too lazy to go to the hairdressers.
Fair enough. Josh Parker's blonde beard.
Horrendous.
Trendy hipster or big bleaching mistake?
Disaster.
Absolute disaster.
Yeah.
Does he share bleach with Darren Oldacre? Just out of curiosity.
Probably.
And last one, who had the better moustache, Ian Rush or John Aldridge?
Rushy.
Done. I'm still quite surprised that he still talks to me after asking him whether he'd rather wear an Everton shirt or a Man United shirt. But like I say, he answered it brilliantly, took it on the chin. I'm still pretty sure he'd back himself in a Royal Rumble as well. And then our final chat with him away from the football pitch was back at the beginning of May. Football season had ended. Everybody was able to, and in Tom's case, he's got a lot of it, let their hair down. And he did that night. I think Stocky spent a lot of the evening before he disappeared into the toilet trying to stroke it. But wasn't afraid to put his hand into his pocket and buy us a drink. And I think we're all, like I say, be forever grateful for that as well. It's not something he had to do. It was a slightly surreal experience that you're mingling with professional footballers on a social, having a drink, having a beer, having a laugh, having banter together. But one of the best things I think about Tom was that you never felt like you was talking to a professional footballer. You was just talking to another bloke in the street, another bloke who you could go for a beer with, almost one of your mates. And again, that's testament to him and his approach to life as well as the game. And he quickly got us a little bit drunk by making us do shots, along with Mark Byrne, who helped him along the way by getting us pints of Guinness. And a brilliant night was had by all. And yeah, I just want to say, and I hope I'm speaking on behalf of pretty much every single Gillingham fan, Tom, when I say, for all the goals, for all the memories, for all the photos, for all the selfies, for the interview, for the signed shirt, which I have to say was a match-worn hat-trick shirt from that Plymouth game, and he promised me it before the game, and he still gave it to me, and I didn't expect him to, because it was a game in which he'd scored a treble. But there it is. Where's my finger gone? Pride, somewhere there. Pride of place on my Gillingham wall. I have the signed boots from that very game upstairs as well, which Tom kindly donated to Darren Stocky, official name, to Stocky when he was doing his charity bike ride. And then that was my contribution to the auction, was that I bid on them boots. So I've now got the set, I've got the shirt signed, I've got the boots signed from that brilliant performance of Tom's. And yeah, just thanks for all that. But most of all, thanks for the last 2 years, because it's been absolutely brilliant watching you improve with us, watching you improve us, watching you arrive as probably an average League One or League Two striker and leaving as a man who's, I'm sure, is going to go and do well in the Championship, because it has been confirmed today that you're joining Hull City. And I know in Grant McCann up there, you've got a manager who, as boss of Doncaster last season, raved about you in both games, I believe. Go and smash it, mate. I will keep an eye on your results. I think I've seen a tweet from a Gills fan today, and there's been thousands, it seems like millions, of people wishing you the best. Not seen a cross word about you. And there was one that stuck out that said, I think maybe we've all become closet Hull City fans now. Go and do your thing, keep working hard, and I'm sure you'll be a roaring success up there. But don't forget about us. And maybe when that 3-year contract expires, and then you take the extra year, which is, I think, the offer on the table if you do all right, you'll be 31 then. Probably do that 4 years, come back down to ME7, sign a couple of years for us, bang a few more in, then retire a legend. From myself personally, from Boz and Stocky, I'm sure as well. And like I say, I hope I'm speaking on behalf of every Gills fan. Tom, it's been an absolute blast. Thank you for it all. And yeah, to finish up, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me rabbit on. Please keep doing all the usual: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. And until next time, up the Gills.